Hello, beautiful soulmates. Yes, you, beautiful soul. How are you? I am Monica Fernandi, creator of the Awakened Soulmate Coaching Program. And I want to talk to you today about walking the walk, not just talking the talk. Walk the walk, don't talk the talk is advice, great advice that I got almost 30 years ago from the iconic Marianne Williamson when I asked her advice about how do I deal with we weren't quite married yet, but soon to be husband, who's now my ex. How do I deal with a man, let's say, who doesn't have the same beliefs that I have? And we have a child together. And her advice to me was, walk the walk, don't talk the talk. And you know what? It took 30 years for me to process that. And yet again, the universe doesn't have any concept of time. Only we do. We measure time here in this realm. But quite frankly, I took that advice and I stopped trying to change him. Although if you asked him, he might think differently. Because it was in me, I took that advice to lead by example, to raise my child in a loving, unconditional way that would teach her and future generations of my lineage to know that it's up to us, it's up to you to find your joy and your happiness. So if somebody is not believing the same deep-rooted, let's say, spirituality beliefs that you have, it's not in your control to try to change their thought process, but what is in your control is to understand you, stay in your lane, and take action for what your beliefs are, not allowing that dictation or trying to change someone else's opinion. They are who they are, you are who you are. So by leading by example and walking the walk, I began to see the light, so to speak, and lead by example to the point where, okay, if I'm not happy, I need to change something in me. I need to change the energy. I need to move around in this very instant. If I'm not feeling good, it's not somebody else's fault. It's on me. It's ownership. And we don't always have that brevity and that courage to take the bull by the horns and to jump into the driver's seat, especially as women, because we feel like we need to be validated, A, and also be approved of, B, and then C, we don't want to be, ostracized and alienated, put down or judged because we feel differently than our mate. Wowza. So this is when conflict happens, and as we go on through our days of raising children and becoming caught up in that human being life of paying the bills and getting on with your chores and that foundational stuff for survival, we're forgetting about all that soul work and that deeply rooted connection to what really matters. What really matters? Well, you should do it this way. Well, I think you should do it this way. You're not doing it right. This is how you have to do it. And if you've heard any of those kind of expressions, whether it's from a sibling, a parent, or a loved one, as in a mate, it's pretty hard to stay in your lane and to continue to walk your walk if you're feeling vulnerable and or judged and feel like you have to fit in rather than be your authentic self. So it takes a true resilience. It takes muscle work. It takes inner work. It takes your soul work. It takes your spiritual work to grow through that and to understand that, you know what? If he's not going to believe what I believe, I'm going to stick with what I believe and I'm going to walk the walk exactly as Marianne Williamson gave me that wisdom that day. Now, like I said, it took me 30 years to get that, and I did walk right out the door. There was times that I wanted to walk the walk earlier because there was a divide. And if there's a divide, there's a conflict in your relationship and you're not communicating that and you're not working through that We fall asleep to the connection that we had, or our contract starts to run out, our sacred contract to be connected to another soul, and then to not have the same beliefs anymore is a growing apart. It's time to evolve. It's time to move on per se. Maybe not exactly leave that relationship, but perhaps to find within you that walking the walk of change in you, and that ripple effect, therefore, changes the relationship. And in the change of the relationship, it's either meant to be or it is not. But nobody owes you happiness. If you find yourself saying, well, you made me do this, and you're pushing my buttons, and you're the one that if any of that comes out of your mouth and out of your heart, let's take a step back. And what path are you walking? You're walking the walk of blame. You're walking the walk of pointing a finger and not looking in the mirror and not opening your eyes to the awakened moment of, okay, wait a minute. Why is that person pushing my buttons? Why am I accusing that person of something that's bothering me? It's in you. There's a reason why things like triggers happen, whether it's in a muscle or in your heart, in your emotions. And it's a wake-up call. It's time to wake up. It's time to listen to that, what is, journal it, write it down, get it out, get help as in therapy. And if you're believing what someone's truth is being thrown at you, you start to live this self-fulfilling prophecy. And then you have all sorts of confusion. All sorts of feelings that what our thoughts then create. Oh my gosh, he thinks this about me. Then our thoughts go off into a feeling that is conjured up because of a thought. And then it leads you down the rabbit hole of an emotion that is led by this thought, which is your truth, not necessarily the truth. And as you get to that emotional insecurity, or that feelings of emotion that might be negativity, you get this into your body, this manifestation. And then the tool of letting go and to walk the walk and to stay in your lane is really essential. But instead what happens is we take action, and the action sometimes causes pain and discomfort in us, in a relationship. And then by the time you've realized it's too late, you've exploded. Your emotions have then come out into a reactive conflict outwardly. All because of a thought, which led to emotion, which wasn't necessarily the truth, which then took action. But there are tools that we can use. There are basic tools that are innate in you to be able to walk the walk and not talk the talk. So not pointing the finger and blaming and shaming, and owning the fact that, life happens. There's lawnmowers outside. There's children that cry. There's bills that are late. There are jobs that don't always fulfill our soul. But if you're not happy in that moment, change it. Change your energy. Shift your whole attitude and walk the walk. Maybe that just means right in that moment. Maybe that means going out and getting a breath of fresh air and changing your emotional roller coaster. So not blaming, this is the way my parents are. This is what happened to me. Because of them, I'm this. Or because I'm, a certain ethnic background, I'm emotional. I can't help it. You can help it. You can change. That's what the role of the coach is, to help you go forward and walk alongside you, not to push you and not to intimidate you, but to help draw out that which is within you, your strength and the courage to walk the walk, to be your authentic self, and to push through all of those muddy moments and those fires that get to you if something's not going your way. Look at it, own it, look in the mirror, and awaken to the fact that this too shall pass. So, if you need help right here, right now, I want to tell you, I am here for you as your soul sister from another mister. I am available to coach with you, but let's hop on a free call and taste and see and hear and listen and look in all of those senses, because you're a sensual being. Let's see what it looks like to walk your walk and not just stand there with your hands on your hips and talk. That person should do this, and if I were that person, they should do that. Let us be in our own shoes. Let us feel our own hearts. Let us stay out of all those negative thoughts that could, as the definition of insanity is. What is the definition of insanity? Repeating the same thing over and over and over again. Stay out of that incessant chatter and let us connect. Let me help you. Till next time, walk that walk.